Hey, what's going on guys? Today we are doing episode 17 of the Fortnite Mythbusters. In today's episode, we go over multiple myths that consist of the brand new Porta grenade and many more highly requested myths that you guys asked on previous episodes. Before we begin, make sure to comment down how many total wins you have down below. I am really curious to see who is rocking the most amount of wins in the comment section. Also, the winner to my 1000 V-Bucks giveaway has been announced. Make sure to check the description to see if you won. If you didn't win, don't worry, there is another awesome way to actually get V-Bucks for free. Playvig is an awesome client that you can download on your PC. Basically, you complete quests and post your scores on the leaderboards. If you make the top 33% of everyone who entered in that certain quest, you will be rewarded with coins that you can redeem for real money, then buy some V-Bucks for absolutely free. I've been using this client for a while and it is actually one of the main ways I get my V-Bucks myself. I thought you guys would be interested. If you are, make sure to check the description below. Anyways guys, without further ado, let's get right on in to today's episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. To begin, the first myth is, what happens when you throw a Porta fort but a player is in the way of the wall? This was a highly requested myth that a lot of people really wanted, and I think they thought that it would actually not place a wall in that specific location that the player is standing. Surprisingly, when I threw the Porta fort and the walls were created, it just pushed him either what way he was closest to. So if he had most of his body mass on one side of the wall, it would push him maybe outside, but in this case it just pushed him right inside of the Porta fort. His body wasn't glitching halfway through like some of you guys may have thought. This was pretty interesting, and personally I thought that his player would just be glitching in between both of the walls, but I guess I was wrong. The next myth is, can you destroy a vending machine with a Porta fort? Ever since the Porta fort was released, this was immediately one of the most requested myths that I have ever received. Everybody requested either can the vending machine be destroyed by a Porta fort, or what happens when you do a Porta fort at the max build limit, which I did in the previous episode of the Mythbusters series. This time, when I attempted to throw the Porta fort on a vending machine, the vending machine was always placed on the side of like the square quadrant, if you understand what I mean. It would never be in the direct center. But when I threw the Porta fort, something actually surprised me. The bouncy tires that are supposed to launch you up to the top portion of the Porta fort, it actually glitched out and spawned on top of the vending machine instead of kind of glitching inside of it like you would think. I was really surprised by this, and I did not expect this to happen. I thought I would throw the Porta fort down and it would either maybe make the vending machine disappear or just glitch inside of it, but I guess it just spawned on top of it, which was pretty cool. I've never seen this happen before, and this was a real shock for me to see in game. The next myth is, what happens when you throw a Porta fort in the middle of Loot Lake? Will it just despawn when it hits the water, or will it actually build? In game, when I tested this out, I thought I would just throw the Porta fort in the water and it would just kind of have maybe like the bottom portion a little bit underwater, but that would totally be fine. Maybe like the tires were underwater, but when I threw it, something surprising actually happened. When the Porta fort was built in the water, what surprised me is that there was a staircase that was automatically built, so none of it became underwater. I thought this was some awesome detail that the Fortnite developers took the time to put in. They could have easily made it so half of it was underwater, but they took the time to create a preset that had a little staircase so it would be all above water and dry. I was very shocked to see this happen. I thought the Porta fort was just going to be built, but they one-upped me in that. The next myth is, what happens when you are using a guided missile, then you jump onto a launch pad? This was definitely one of the hardest myths to do, because firstly you had to find a guided missile, the next you actually had to find a launch pad, which was very difficult to find in the same exact game. If you guys didn't know already, the guided missile has actually been removed from the game temporarily. It might be coming back soon, maybe not, I don't know completely. So this was definitely a pre-recorded clip that I made about 15 days ago surprisingly, and I was able to find it. Basically what we did, we put the launch pad down, then we made a little platform above it for me to stand on when I shoot the guided missile. Mid-flight, when I'm flying the missile, my friend would actually destroy the platform that I am standing on, sending my player straight onto the jump pad, And what surprised me is that it automatically canceled me out of the window. I did not manually cancel out of the window, it automatically did it. Next, what happened, I had complete control of my character, and I was actually able to land on my guided missile coming straight back from me. I thought this was really cool to do, and you can still do this on your own. All what you have to do is jump over a ledge and hover over a launch pad when you're falling, shoot out your guided missile, and you will automatically land on the launch pad, making you cancel out, and you possibly can land on your guided missile. This was definitely really cool to do. This is the least I would expect. I expected my player to continue guiding the missile and just stand on top of the launch pad like it's a regular floor, but it cancels you out and you are able to fly around. The next myth is, what happens when you throw a porta fort off the side of the map into the ocean? This was definitely something I was really curious about, because if you didn't know, some people have actually glitched under that ocean and it is just a flat floor. There is maybe like a few bushes here and there, but for all of that, there's literally nothing underneath that ocean. So the main question is, what happens when you throw a porta fort over the ocean? Will it go down there and build underwater, or will it just despawn and disappear? Or maybe something special will happen. In game, when we were attempting to do this myth, right when we found the porta fort, I got swarmed by a team and I got 1v4'd and died. But my friend Risk, he was actually able to pursue this myth and complete it for you guys. When he threw it off the side of the map, sadly nothing happened. We thought maybe we just lost the side of view of it, maybe it like built underwater or something, but with the brand new replay system, it allowed me to go get a closer look at exactly what happened. Sadly, when the porta fort did actually reach the ocean or the water, it just despawned, kind of like how it did in Loot Lake. Loot Lake, it wouldn't have anything built underwater, so I guess when the porta fort hit it, there was no platform underneath for it to build on, so it just despawned. This was pretty interesting and sad to do. It would definitely be awesome for you to throw a porta fort into the ocean when you're falling, and then maybe have it save your life, like if you built a bridge out trying to get back to the spawn island or something. I don't know, but this was interesting to see. The last myth is, what happens when you throw a porta fort inside of another porta fort? This was definitely one of the hardest myths for me to do, because if you guys haven't played Fortnite already, it is hard enough to find one porta fort, but finding two porta forts in the same exact game is pretty difficult to do, especially in a solo match. Luckily, I was able to pull it off, and when I threw down the first porta fort, I jumped up, because we know already that you could stack porta forts on top of each other, but when you actually throw the new porta fort inside of the original porta fort, it did something pretty interesting. I'll play it in slow-mo, but when the new porta fort structure was building, it destroyed the old porta fort structure, taking us way back to square one. So when you throw a porta fort inside of another porta fort, basically nothing happens except it's just a waste. Anyways guys, that wraps it up for today's episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like, and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that bell to turn on post notifications to be notified whenever I upload or do go live. Make sure to comment a myth down below if you would like to have it featured in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, and I will see you guys next time.